So, why you should not move to the Philippines? I know that this is a popular video for people to clickbait and do the haha, everything's perfect in the Philippines, you should move there. Well, that's not what you're going to get in this video. Okay. I've lived in the Philippines for 3 years, and while every country has good and bad, I'm going to give you a few reasons why it may not be necessary for you at this particular moment in your life to move to the Philippines. Number one, wherever you're located now probably has better food, infrastructure, healthcare, government. All of those things are probably superior to the Philippines. Okay. So, um, you probably don't have better beaches, you know what I mean? But you probably have better food, healthcare, all that good stuff. Um, so also another thing is going to be um, there's really, really only one reason, and this is going to be a reason why you don't see any women. There's no Western women besides women that are probably stationed for work in Manila, uh, living in the Philippines. And that's because basically the only reason why anyone is in the Philippines long term, as far as, again, there is a zero female long term presence in the Philippines. You have the Wanderlust girls that go to Boracay, and then you have the girl that's stationed in BGC or Manila for work for a year or 6 months and probably hates it. But there is no female presence, and that's because the only real reason for a long-term stay in the Philippines is, I guess, if you got 50 or 100 grand and you figure you have 10 years to live, or 5 years to live, or whatever, and you think that you could stretch it, or women. I mean, there's really no reason besides kind of, um, it's not better than, like, not having central air or garbage disposal, or a proper washer and dryer, or all that good stuff is not superior to having it. So, you know at the end of the day, wherever you are currently is probably better. If you can get women where you currently are, maybe that's not necessary for you to come to the Philippines. Now, if you can't, and you've had this thing with the Philippines is beautiful. I mean, anywhere in Asia is going to be really, really interesting for somebody that's never left their bubble of the United States or Europe or Canada or Australia or wherever the hell you are, to see, those white sand beaches and stuff. Don't get me wrong. If you want a woman, you should go to the Philippines. If you love the beautiful beaches, go to the Philippines. But if you're like slaying all the ladies wherever you're at, and you're living super first world and killing it and eating 5-star meals and stuff, I would definitely not go to the Philippines. You know what I mean? If you get 2 grand a month and you want to live like a rock star, go to the Philippines. If you get 9 to 12 grand a month, you probably don't need to go, right? You're already rock star. I mean, if depending on where you live, if you're not living in Beverly Hills or Manhattan, you know, you're doing fine. So I think it's not going to be necessary. I know people watch these YouTube videos and they romanticize it. And if I was a regular vlogger that was ass kissing and Pinoy baiting, I would tell you, just kidding. Don't go to the Philippines because 100 women are going to think you're so handsome. I love how all these goobers come to the Philippines, probably because of my videos. And then they try to be vloggers and act like they're so handsome and stuff, but you've never seen them with a woman. They've never, like, then they quietly depart the Philippines immediately. Yeah, Filipinas are not that easy. Filipinas are pretty savvy these days, and pretty internet savvy, and they're pretty clear on if they're a 10 or a 1 because of social media. Even the provincie of provinced woman has an Oppo phone and knows if she gets 17 likes or 1,700 likes. And, I mean, at the end of the day, the world is wide open because of social media. And I just think some people, tend to romanticize these places because of YouTube channels. And I just want to be the one to say, if you're a young guy, it's probably not necessary for you to come to the Philippines, bro. Okay. If you're an older dude, I get it. If you are struggling with the ladies, I get it. If you just fucking are having a midlife crisis or whatever, I get it. If you just want to fucking travel around and, you might stay a month, you might stay 3 years, shit, that's the dream. I love that I was able to live like this. However, it may not be necessary for you, and there's a whole lot of downside as far as just like little amenities and the whole death by a thousand paper cuts sort of scenario, just every little cumulative effect of just little bullshit starts to get to you when you're used to things running smoothly. Now, for most guys, this is not necessarily some glamorous move, like is it going to be Dubai or the Philippines? This is generally a desperation move for guys that didn't plan properly or went bankrupt or lost their house in their divorce or something, and they know, hey, I'm going to get $1,234. I'm basically in a tent on Skid Row, or I'm in the Philippines or Thailand. Mexico, maybe? I'm not sure. So yeah, I mean, keep it real, you know. And then there's dudes like my age and other guys that just kind of bounced around and said, "Fuck it," They had a couple bucks or whatever, had probably a bunch of money to come to the Philippines. If you didn't hit it on YouTube, you would need to have, I don't know, 100 bands or something to last a few years, easy, unless you're gonna live like a local or you're gonna be scrimping and saving and stuff. So I don't know, guys. Uh, I just want to be clear with people. Yeah, I think if you're like, over 50 or you're struggling with the ladies or you're heavy or you're awkward or, you know, that kind of shit, it makes sense. Otherwise, I think there's a whole lot of places like if you care about that stuff. I thought I didn't care about that stuff. And then I guess when I visited home, I realized, oh my God, what a difference it makes to have everything properly running and these little extra amenities and things. I don't know, and just the food and just everything. I have to admit, not saying there you can't find good food in the Philippines. Not saying that it's not the greatest fit for a guy that's finds a woman there and that's just his goal in life is to find a woman or has a business there or loves the Philippines. Just wants to live that island island life. I mean, I loved it until I didn't anymore. And I really, really loved my favorite time ever from my 3 years in the Phils that will be ending quite shortly was really Boracay Island. That was really me falling in love with the Philippines. And the problem with Boracay for me was it was just like an island fever type thing. For a foreigner that goes to Boracay, it's going to be really fun and really exotic and great, but you're going to have to keep yourself afloat. The grocery store sucks, so you're going to eat out. You're going to drop 20, 30, $40 a day if you're alone. If you're with a chick, probably way more than that, especially if you drink. And then it's small. Like you're going to have to date a local. Like you could, get some tourists here and there, but that's going to be like, you know, God, I don't know. I probably hooked up with like 3 to 5 tourists in like, the little less than a year that I was in and out of there. So that's not that often, bro. That's gonna be like every couple months or something. So you're gonna have to have a local chick or a couple local chicks or a girlfriend or something if you're, you know, if you really care about shit like that. I was grinding on YouTube, so I wasn't super desperate to, hang out with girls. But yeah. So I think that Boracay got boring. If I was 80, yeah, I'd probably just walk the beach every day. It's fucking paradise. However, there's rules, things you can't do. Can't drink on the beach, can't smoke marijuana, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's pretty limited as far as grocery stores suck. Great food on the beach, but you got to pay a premium for it. Accommodations kind of suck unless they can squeeze you into like, I mean, actually, just get like a non or go like Alta Brisa or something, you'll be fine. Accommodations don't suck, but you got either subpar accommodations or you have, most of the pricey ones. Alta Breeze is a good hack where you get a really good deal for a really nice accommodation, but a lot of it, if you don't know where to go or you're not like me and you didn't live there, you're gonna end up, at some fucking Hanan paying 220 a night, and you should probably get a better deal than that in the Philippines. But Boracay is paradise. However, it's extremely boring. You know, you could just basically have a girlfriend and have sex all day, or I mean, there's basically nothing else to do besides get drunk and have sex in Bora. You know what I mean? You can't smoke weed if you're not a surfer, you're not a skimboarder, jet skier, whatever. And when you go out on the jet skis, they force you into this circular little controlled area, and it's not even worth it. Only by the 15 minutes if you've never, it's on your bucket list or something, because you'll be dizzy riding in a circle for 30 minutes. So, anyways, guys, you might not need to move to the Philippines. You should visit and see if you like it. If you're struggling with the ladies, or you're an older dude, or you're on a fixed income, knock yourself out. Otherwise, I'd probably just recommend to visit, or stay for a year, 2 or 3. But when I say move, I mean move to the Philippines forever. All these guys are selling their house and their car, and you, know, you might want to pump your brakes, downshift turbo. Okay, come check it out. 30-day discovery trip. Check out some neighboring countries. Figure out. All right, folksies. Resta bitslipna.